Alright, hey guys here, welcome to the first video on how to code in Python. So here it is. So first I have the commenting in Python. So hashtag and then whatever's on the line is a single line comment and then three single quotes. One, two, three. Will give you a multi-line comment as presented right here. So let's get started right away. I'm gonna try to make this kind of a short video so we can just quickly get through this video and then y'all could watch my next video, which is gonna be a bit more interesting about math, and then I'll do if statements probably and then loops and then we'll get into some like arrays and stuff. So really all of these videos should not cross 15 minutes in length or even like 13 just because of the simple nature of Python as it's designed to be an easy language. But before we start, we have to install Python. So you go to python.org, download Python, um, and yeah, or you could download Anaconda, the data science version of Python 3. It's really the exact same thing, except it comes with all of these data science tools. We will be using Anaconda later. That's what I personally use. I just don't even have Python on my computer just because I need all of these for just different projects. And you're going to need to install PyCharm, which is a really good vocal Python IDE. And you just install the community version. It's completely free. All of these things are free. And yeah, good thing to know if you're a student, you can uh, get Python. PyCharm as a student, I think. I'm not sure though. Anyways, that's not for me to decide. The community edition will work, and yeah, let's get started. So, printing in Python. So to print in Python, you just have to write print, and then in Python, strings can be inside single quotes or inside double quotes. So that's something to keep an eye out for, as yeah, you should be consistent with that. So keep in mind that that includes like code readability, and it's just kind of messy if you combine both. So I'm going to be using single quotes. So print in single quotes, and then you could write whatever you want to print to the console. For this video, if you just have Python installed, you can just, depending on if you added it to path, you have to add it to path, then you can just open CMD, and in CMD you could just be like Python, and you could follow along this video in this Python shell. Or if you downloaded Python, you could use IDLE, which is basically Python IDE that Python has, but it's not really that nice. Or if you downloaded Anaconda, then you could use Anaconda prompt to follow along. Just type in Python. But yeah, best if you install PyCharm. So you can see it printed out. Um, okay, another thing in Python, and I just removed the parentheses. So let's say you wanted to use two print statements, uh, but you wanted to print them on the same line. So how this is going to work, as the way I've coded it, is it's going to print this line and the cursor is going to be here, but then after it's done printing, then move to the next line, then print this, and then move to the next line. So right now the cursor is over here. So the way you'd put them on the same line is you add another parameter. So you do comma and you do end equals, and then you just do single quotes as in nothing. Because the default ending to a print statement is \n, which signifies next line. So that means move the cursor to the next line, or in other words, print that character, which will give you an extra line. But yeah, that's pretty much it for print statements. Oh yeah, concatenation character. I think that's how you say it. We'll get into that this video. So types of I'm just gonna use CMD for this just because it's fastest. Types of kind of variables in Python. Kind of three main ones that like you're gonna be using like all the time is are these. So I'll show you that I'll create variables. So declaration of variables, we should go over that. You just have to write the name and just store its value. You don't have to declare if it's an array, if it's a string, if it's an int, if it's a float, just like you just do it. You just write the name and what it's equal to. And then in Python, you can just type and then the name of your variable and it'll tell you what the variable is. Obviously, since I'm in CMD, I don't have to write print around this. But yeah, sorry if you hear noise in the background. So the next thing, kind of the other type of variable, I was going to create var1, 1.3, and as you might guess, the type of this variable is a float. And then the last kind of thing I'm going to be going over is a string. And even though I told you, I am still going to prove that this is a string and no tricks are being played. Okay, yeah, that's perfect. So yeah, you could create variables. I'll just create my variable equals one or equals. I'll make it equal string, and you could print it by just going variable. And yeah, so I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory. That part, just declaring variables, you just write the name and then store the value, and then call it whenever you need to do it. We are at 7 minutes. We're good for time. So the last thing I kind of want to go over today is input. So input in Python 3 is really easy to do. So there's kind of two types of input. Okay, I'm gonna do three things in this input section. I'm gonna do the type of input, and then single line, single input online vs versus multi. Did I say vs input online? Or poly, I think poly input online, meaning more than one input online. Okay, so input. So basically getting an int, or I'll do a string first. So string is the easiest. You just write the name, input. You can't call it input. That's a keyword. That was dumb. Um, string equals. Um, you just write input, and that will store a string inside here. If you want to prompt the user, instead of writing a print line of like uh, enter a string, you can when you enter a string and then going like this, and obviously you'd have to do the end it equals because you would want it on the same line. Instead of doing that, what you can do, you can just copy the string into over here, and you don't even need the print line altogether. Okay, to get an integer equals input, and then you write enter integer, and then float. How you get float input is, oh, I did integer wrong. You, you surround the input with int, so you're casting. So then what you're doing for a float is you do float input, and then you do enter float. And then we could obviously print all of these. So printing. To do concatenation characters, you could just use commas, and commas will just automatically put a space in between all of the kind of things you passed in, things you want to print, and yeah, so that'll print out everything with this space. I'm just gonna pause the video and be right back. Yep, so we're back. So as you can see where I entered the string, I'll enter hello, enter integer 1, 1.3 as my float, and you can see it printed out everything with the space. Let's say I wanted to print out everything right close to each other without like a space. Actually, that's not even like a real thing you'd want to do, but let's say I wanted not a space, maybe like a string. And right, my integer and without a space, let's say I already added a space inside the string and I don't want to use the space concatenation here, I'll just use plus and that'll join it um, right beside the thing. Sorry, right beside the string. Mm, okay, yeah. So basically what I'm doing here, I'm using the plus as a kind of, I'm adding the two together. So the dumb mistake, I need to turn this into a string. How you do that is you write str and surround what you want to turn into a string with brackets, and now this will work. And now you won't have a space between um, my integer colon space, and you won't have another space. It'll just be joined right beside. So I'll just do this 1 and 1.3. And you can see my integer is 1. There's only one space because there's only one space here and no extra added space due to the comma. All right. So yeah, we're doing great in terms of that. So that's type of input. So that's getting string input, int input, and float input. Um, okay. So the last thing I want to go over in this video really quickly is sometimes I'm just gonna write a sample input in a comment. Let's make a program that adds kind of two numbers, that adds finds the sum of two inputs. So let's say my inputs are going to be 1 and 2 on the exact same line. So basically what I'm going to do is, what you can do in Python is how you get the same how you get input on the same line is like this. You create two variables for your two inputs, and then you write equals, and then you use the map function, and map basically can split your input. There's other ways to do this, but I think this is the best way. So you write basically what form you want the input in, I guess, and then you want to write what you're kind of mapping to. So I'm mapping two pieces of input to A and B, and what am I mapping? I'm mapping the input, and what am I doing? I'm splitting it at the space. So the default for dot split is it splits at a space. So I'm gonna get two inputs split by one space that are divided by one space, and I'm going to put them into A and B, and then I'll print out the sum of A and B. Um, the sum of A and B, I don't need a space because I'm just going to do A plus B, and I didn't need sum. I'll just write hello, 1 and 1.3. And then I didn't have a prompt for this, but if I had 2 on the same line, I'll do 2 and 3 on the same line. So you can see it mapped 2 to A and 3 to B, and then I added A and B together to get 5. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please press the like button, comment, share, subscribe, do all of that. And if you have any questions, comment section below. I will be looking there. And yeah, thanks for watching and stay tuned for the next video.